Hi, my name is Jay Hurt. I am a relationship coach and I'm the COO of the Academy of Creative Coaching. And I want to talk today a little bit about um, how have relationships changed during the pandemic, right? Because we've gone through a transformation, a big transition that no one ever expected to have to deal with, and definitely not this long. I think we've seen some things change that we had no idea would be in place. And I just want to talk about that a little bit today. So, the first thing that we've seen change, and I've seen this with my clients, I've seen this with some groups that I coach and some groups that I'm a part of. I think there's been some frustration, right? There's been some frustration both for singles and for people that are in relationships. So, especially early on in the pandemic, right, there was a lot of frustration for singles. They couldn't get out. You couldn't interact with people. A lot of people are extroverts and they want to be around people, right? And that even goes beyond just the romantic relationship, just people in general, right? The need to be around people. Even those of us who are introverts like myself, still we need to have some interaction, right? We need to be around people. So there was a lot of frustration around that. There was also frustration for those of us who are married or in a relationship. The challenge there is, so now we're spending more time than we're used to, right? Often we get up, we go to work, we take the kids to school, whatever that may look like. But now we're stuck in the house and we're trying to turn a bedroom into an office, or we're trying to turn a living room, or in my case, a dining room right here, into a studio, right? And we're making things work just to make sure that we're able to continue moving forward, where we may not have space for an office. We may not have space to be able to do the work that we need to do, but we're working from home. And now you're interacting with your spouse, with your significant other more and more, where you never did that in the past, right? So now you're trying to navigate this entire day, right? So you may be working and your spouse may be at lunch watching TV, or you may be doing something that you might be comfortable doing, right? That's in the middle of the day, and you are in some way or another kind of infringing on your spouse's space. You may be watching TV, you may be listening to music, right? It may be comfortable for you to listen to music while you work, and that just doesn't work for your spouse. So there's been a lot of frustration, um, both with singles and with couples during the pandemic. And I think we're beginning to see a little bit of a shift as we kind of move forward with this thing. And, it looks like COVID is not leaving us. It's just going to transition into something that we're able to deal with, right? So now, how do we navigate that? How do we figure out how to move forward, right? So I would drop a thought here, a little nugget. So take the time to work out what that looks like, right? So if the two of you are at home working together, and let's say you don't have space for two offices, so let's sit down and take some time and plan out our day and see what that looks like, right? So there may be some time where you need to have something going, right? You may be on a Zoom call, right? Like here, and you need quiet. So what does that look like for the other spouse to move to a different place, or can you move to a different place? I know for myself, sometimes I'll take Zoom calls outside, right? And be able to have that space to myself and not interfere with what she's doing, and try to be considerate of one another. So we want to alleviate as much of that frustration as we can, but I think it's important to be intentional about the conversation so we understand how to minimize that frustration as much as possible. So the second thing that comes up for me while talking about how relationships have changed in the pandemic is video, right? So we're on video now. Video it's been around forever, right? But now FaceTime is through the roof. Video chatting in any form, right? Microsoft Teams, Zoom, whatever that might be, WhatsApp, right? We have these connections where we can connect with each other around the world. So from a relationship standpoint, we're still able to connect. We're still able to make eye contact. We're still able to see each other smile, and we're still able to see, the body language, right? I talk with my hands, or you're able to see me talking with my hands. So that's great. And I'll add another component to that. Now you have things like video dates and video speed dating, right? So now we've taken that up a notch where I had a friend who went on a video date and someone ordered Uber Eats for her, right? Or you may order out. You may order you may order in, I should say, right? You may order from a fancy restaurant and have a date 3,000 miles from each other across Zoom. So this is another component that's really changed in the pandemic, and I would encourage folks to embrace this, right? So take a look at what this really means to to you and your relationship, and how can you use this effectively as you try to grow your relationship. Maybe it's not across the country or across seas, maybe it's across town, maybe it's down the street, but use the technology that's available to you and use that technology effectively so you still have that connection, right? You may not have the connection like we do in person, right? There's no way to say it any other way than video is definitely different than being in person, right? You don't get the vibe, you don't get the energy, you don't get the feedback. Sometimes you don't pick up on all of the body language, the tonal inflection, all of those things. We get a lot of that through video, but we don't get all of it. But the good thing about video is we get often enough of it. So we want to still be connecting via video, take advantage of that, and use that to build your relationships, right? Use that to stay connected. It's better than back when I was a kid, staying on the phone all night long, which I think my daughter may still do that, but she does it on video, right? She's on video late. So it's a different era. Take advantage of these things. And then the other thing I've seen, especially with my coaching clients, is that there's more appreciation in their relationships, right? Because of the things that happened in the pandemic, right? People being hospitalized for days on end, for months in some cases, having to see people that we know and love and see those folks, leave us, right, forever. This has really changed how we feel about people, I believe, in relationships. So it gives us an opportunity to appreciate more. And I see that with the folks that I talk to and the folks that I coach. So it creates an opportunity for things like more quality time, right? More intimacy, right? Being intimate with your partner, less opportunity to take each other for granted, right? So that's really important. The fact that we're cognizant now that we know that, we've seen this, right? We've seen this all around us. We've seen that this can be, things can end abruptly. Things cannot end pretty, right? So just think about that, be aware of that. It's really important to spend that time. It's really important to show your significant other that you appreciate them. And that is what I wanted to share today. So if you have any questions for us, please feel free to reach out to the Academy of Creative Coaching. You can reach out to info@Academy of Creative Coaching if you have questions for the Academy. If you have questions specifically for me, again, my name is Jay, my last name is Hertz, and you can reach out to me at jay@academyofcreativecoaching.com. That's JAY@academyofcreativecoaching.com. We will see you soon.